Back at Big 12 Media Days means the start of the football season at a new venue now at the Ford Center in Frisco, moving away from the Omni in Dallas. I'm here with Colin Kennedy. Colin, big day today. Like I said, kicking off football season.
Absolutely.
But a new twist. There's no Bob Stoops. I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but there's a new head ball coach in Norman.
We might be breaking news out here, Carson.
We might be.
Apparently, Lincoln Riley is the new head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners.
Right, today. And so obviously today he went through his first Big 12 Media Days. Colin, what did you see from him and kind of how he's handled everything so far?
The number one thing is poise. Coming into today, you knew he was going to face a lot of questions about Bob Stoops. And sometimes people can get lost in that. Lincoln Riley's his own man, everyone. He's a great coach, has a bright future, but obviously when you're coming under a guy who was here for 18 years and put up the success like Bob did, you're going to hear those kind of questions. But Lincoln Riley said everything he needed to say today, acknowledged the fact that Bob Stoops is one of the best to do it in college football, but also acknowledged the fact that he's his own guy and he's going to lead this team to success with a lot of pressure on their shoulders next year.
Yeah.
Some big games on the schedule, and they're projected to be the Big 12 title favorites yet again.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield coming back, which is huge for Lincoln.
Heisman Trophy finalist last year, hoping to do that again this year.
Not a lot of people come into a head coaching job with an experienced quarterback that's a Heisman contender favorite.
Right.
Going to be a lot of good things going for Lincoln, but he set himself up for success by doing everything he needed to do here at Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with him.
Yeah, today, obviously speaking of Baker Mayfield, he's one of the only guys on the offense who's really returning. I mean, you lose D.D. Westbrook, Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon, three of the highest
Absolutely.
production-wise guys that OU had last year.
Absolute stars.
And that was a lot of what everybody talked about today was how are they going to replace those three guys. Colin, what did you hear from them today?
Well, the number one thing you kind of hear is there are some under-the-radar guys that are going to step up, but also, this ball is going to be spread out a lot more in this offense. There are a lot of guys that could see plenty of receptions, not really a featured target in the receiving corps, which I think is huge because a lot of people keyed in on D.D. Westbrook throughout the year and sometimes made it difficult for those other guys to get involved. I've heard Mark Andrews a lot. I've heard Nick Basquin. I've heard
Jeff Mead.
Jeff Badette as well, coming in from Kentucky.
Yeah.
We've talked about him several times. Who knows what this receiving corps is going to look like, but from what I've heard, as far as they go, they'll be all right. Now, we talk about the running backs.
In the backfield, yeah.
Oh, boy. I mean, Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine were, in my opinion, the best running back duo in the entire country.
No doubt.
But like I said, receivers could see plenty of production. We could see 5 running backs that could see plenty of production. Marcellus Sutton, Trey Sermon, Kennedy Brooks.
Rodney Anderson.
Rodney Anderson is the guy that they really like, and Abdul Adams.
Yeah, can't forget about Abdul Adams last year. Played a good number of games late in the game.
And if you even want to throw in Dimitri Flowers there, who saw some playing time at running back in the Iowa State game.
Correct.
We're talking about 6 guys that could make some plays in the backfield. A lot of guys could be seeing some playing time and some yardage going into OU's offense. But I want to say, we talk about them losing a lot. Not a lot of teams return 5 starters on the offensive line, especially one that is considered to be one of, if not the best in college football.
They definitely could be the best. I asked Orlando Brown about those running backs. I said, these past couple of years, they've been one of those teams that always use 2 running backs. They always use Joe and Samaje. I asked him, well, could you see that same thing this year? You guys have 5 or 6, like you said, running backs you go to, and he said absolutely. There's this kind of offense is just suited for multiple running backs, and I think that definitely fits OU because they've got so many guys. I mean, obviously we would have heard something about who is the guy, but we haven't because there's so many quality running backs that OU has, which isn't anything new in Norman. And then on the other side of the ball, there was a little bit of struggle last year, especially in Lubbock, obviously.
Oh, boy.
The dumpster fire where no one was really even allowed to play defense, it seemed like. This year...
It was basically a track meet on the field.
Exactly. This year it seems like there's a lot more confidence on that side of the ball.
Absolutely.
Stephen Parker, Obo, both here this week at Big 12 Media Days. Those are the 2 anchors, I feel like, on defense. But what else have you heard? What else did you hear them talk about today?
I talked with Stephen Parker a lot today, and he is very excited about the progression of this defense.
Right.
One of the big storylines that I've been keying on throughout this summer is the big storylines are on the offensive side, losing guys, like we said, Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine, D.D. Westbrook, great players, but they lose Jordan Evans on the defensive side of the ball at Mike linebacker. Your Mike linebacker is your leader, the quarterback of the defense, and he was huge for the Sooners, especially late in the year, creating turnovers.
Yeah, had a lot of interceptions.
Absolutely. He's been big for the Sooners for a long time. Now you got to fill that hole.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard a lot about John Michael Terry and Emmanuel Beal stepping up, and we can talk about the move to the 4-3 defense.
Yeah. That'll create a lot more pressure on offenses, and I
Absolutely.
think that's what you need in today's college football.
Exactly. Stephen Parker said he's really excited about it because of the potential pressure that could be put on opposing quarterbacks. DJ Ward, from what I've heard, has been looking very impressive. Obviously, Opo's going to
And
get
let's not forget Caleb Kelly,
And Caleb Kelly, one
of the
these
most exciting
stars.
true freshmen last year.
Exactly. And great point brought up while I was talking with Stephen. Caleb Kelly got 3 snaps against Ohio State. 3.
Yeah, that's probably going to have to change this year
That's going
in
to
Columbus.
change a whole lot,
Yeah.
and that gives the Sooners an added element to that defense. A lot of things to be excited about on the defensive side of the ball. And I would like also throw out the fact that they have a pretty solid defensive tackle pairing with Neville Gallimore and Matt Romar down there.
Yeah.
Those guys are big bodies. They're going to clog lanes and maybe even put some pressure on some guys. I think this defense is on the up, and they are very excited about what they could do in a very offensive, happy conference.
Yeah, it all gets started here in a couple weeks as OU hosts UTEP during the first game. That'll do it for us from Big 12 Media Days. I'm Carson Williams alongside Colin Kennedy. Be sure to check out OUnightly.com for more information.